What's up, everyone? Today we have Miss Sarah from A Sweet and Simple Home. Now, Miss Beth took the lead on this interview. I think she did absolutely fantastic. So let her know how good she did in the comments. But she's a homeschooling mom. She helps find age appropriate books for kids. She has a pretty big following on Instagram. She talks about her homeschooling experience, different publishers that she recommends, how she finds books, how she helps to moderate whether it's a good or it's not good. Miss Beth, I know you did amazing with the interview, but give them a little recap.
Thank you, David. She talked all about what she likes to read, how she finds books for herself, how they use a Yoda player and also incorporate audiobooks into their routine. They like to read at meal times when they can. It was really great. She provided actionable steps for families who want to get into reading and how to have age-appropriate books for your kids. Absolutely loved it.
Yeah, I enjoyed being the listening ear on this one. Good job. So we'll see you guys inside.
All right, we're so excited to have you here and discuss books with you. Could you just tell us a little bit about yourself and kind of the background behind your Instagram content?
Sure. My name is Sarah. I run a Sweet and Simple Home over on Instagram, and it is a community of moms, homeschool moms, people who just love to read and who want good quality literature for themselves and for their kids. So I enjoy finding beautiful books. I enjoy finding books that honor the Lord. Yeah, it's just a fun space that people can gather in and just talk about books.
I love that. And I know I've
Yes.
seen a lot of the books that you promote, and they're always very beautifully illustrated. And I can tell
Yes.
that they have, moral components of how we
Yes.
should raise our children and what we can instruct to them. And then you
Absolutely.
do homeschool as well?
So, yes, so something unique about our family is we are a hybrid homeschool family.
Great.
So that means that my kids go to a Christian school twice a week, and they go there, and I get all the information stuff from their teachers, and we kind of it's like we work together to homeschool the
Oh,
kids. So,
wow. That's
yeah,
great.
this is actually our last year doing that because we're moving, and so I'll be doing full-time homeschool next year. So. Yeah, it'll be a new change, but I'm excited for it.
That's awesome. I don't think we've actually interviewed anyone who has done that yet, but I
Yeah,
have heard of that before, and that is great.
yes.
That's
Yes,
wonderful.
it was a great like stepping stone for especially for me because I was like homeschooling is scary. I'm like I have to do this all by myself. So it was really great and the Lord led us to that and I feel more confident to be like, okay, like I can do this. Like I always said,
Yeah.
oh, the other moms can do it, but I can't. But I was like, I can do this.
Yeah, that's
So
right.
yeah,
That's right.
I'm excited. Yeah.
That's great. And then if you don't mind sharing, how old are your kids? Like what's the age
Yeah.
range and grade level?
Yeah, so my oldest, Ellie, is 9 and she is in third grade. And then I have two little boys. Everett is 7 and Lincoln is 3. So third grade, first grade, and home with me.
Love that.
Doing
That's
life. Yeah.
awesome. So then how did you kind of get into your Instagram content? Like what kind of inspired this whole your brand and everything?
Yeah. So I first started out on Instagram as reselling books or anything I love to like find at the thrift store. It was very much therapeutic for me to just go out and find stuff. And my husband's like, we can't just like buy everything. I was like, well, I'll sell some of it. So that was fun for a season. And then I had my third kid, and I was like, this is just not sustainable. So my love of books started to come back after I had kids. And so I started sharing about books more and just only selling books. And then it kind of came to like the Lord leading upon my heart to just educate more about books and what books are out there, especially for Christian families, to be able to find books that honor the Lord and honor what He says is true. And so, yeah, I just kind of took that little path and I'm just amazed at how it's gone so far. So yeah.
That's amazing. And then do you have favorite authors that you pick from, or like how do you find these books?
So a lot of the times it's me looking on the computer and researching, honestly.
Yeah.
A lot of times it's if there's new authors I've never heard of, I definitely check into those, what kind of values they have. A lot of safe bets are the older books, and they're
Yeah,
so
that's
they're
true.
so beautiful and so rich in language, which I find
hmm
wonderful for kids. But yeah, I definitely have a few favorite authors that I am always searching for their books and always wanting to find more.
That's great. And then do you have tips for families who want to find these books? Like obviously they can go to you and see what you have, but do
Mhm.
you have any like websites you recommend? I know like Common Sense Media is a big one or anything like that.
Yeah, so definitely, I think there are places like that. A lot of times, there's other ladies on Instagram that are just like me doing the same thing, and I learn a lot from them as well. So, I think there's definitely some ladies on Instagram I learned from, and a lot of times when I'm telling people to look for books or look for authors and stuff like that, I thrift a lot of the books, and I've
Yeah.
also given the big tip of just find really good publishers that you like. You can like
Mm-hmm.
scan the bottom of the like shelves and
Yes.
like pick out the different publishers that you like. I know there's some Christian publishers that I constantly am like, I know their logo, I know what color it is. And
Yes.
my husband's like amazed at my knowledge sometimes of
I
logos of books.
love that. That's
But
great.
yeah, I think just being intentional of like publishers, have a list
Mhm.
of authors that you love to go to, and
Yeah.
yeah, just women like me that have a passion for sharing good books. So yeah.
I'll jump in here real quick, Beth.
Yeah, go ahead.
So we see a lot, especially in like the news, you'll see where parents will try to read books to the school board that are in the
Yeah,
schools, and the school boards will shut them down, not even let them read them there because they're inappropriate. However, they're on
right.
in the libraries. So, a lot of parents, and we speak to homeschooling families, so it's not as much of an issue for us.
Yeah,
But however, I would imagine that a lot of parents will automatically assume anything that is coming through the school system is safe for kids to read. What
right.
are some things that parents could maybe look out for to kind of, if they're not avid readers themselves, they don't want to read
Yeah,
the page of the book, what are some things they can look for? I know you said the publishers is one of them,
yeah.
but what are some things that they can look for negatives, and then also things that they can look for positives?
Yeah. So I think for positives, definitely, like I said, the older books, I mean, it's not foolproof. It's not a foolproof method to like look at, oh, that's an old book. It's going to be great. But a lot of times, none of the like agendas or like the things like that they would read in front of people would be in those.
Greatness.
Yes. So it's like, okay, a lot of that won't be in those older ones.
Yeah,
So,
it's true.
um, I think that as far as looking for good books, just like I said, knowing publishers and stuff like that. But as far as like if you're not an avid reader and you're like, well, how am I going to know if this is a good book or not? A lot
Mhm.
of times there's different, obviously you can think about different authors and illustrators, look at the covers, read the back of the book. A lot
Mhm.
of times it's kind of silly, but yeah, reading the back of the book will tell you a lot. The
Yeah.
illustrators will tell you a lot. And a lot of times, if you look at people that endorse the book and you are like, that
That's
person's
true.
not really
Yeah.
a person I would want to like agree, like I don't agree with
Mm-hmm.
them. So it's like I
Yeah.
don't think I want to read this book. So I've done that a lot of times, especially with adult books for myself. I'm like, I'm not really a big fan of that person. And they're saying this book is
Yes.
wonderful. And I'm like, I think we might disagree on this. So
Yes.
just like
That's great.
picking up on those little things. It's like, okay, just being aware of just definitely different illustrators, especially for children's books. You can
Hmm.
notice that they have a look to them or very, a lot of times now it's books that are just very open-ended. It's like, okay,
Hmm.
is what is happening here? So it
Hmm.
kind of makes you
Hmm.
guess and you're like, I don't like that. So yeah,
Yeah.
just those things. Yeah, hopefully that is helpful.
And then kind of to segue, I know you recommend a lot of books for younger children, but I
Mhm.
know recently there was a whole crisis. I don't know if you saw it on Instagram, but a YA author came out and published.
Yes.
Do you know what book I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
you knew.
Oh,
Oh, that
oh,
was yeah. Yeah. David, if you don't know, there was a book that came out. I'm not going to say the author's name, but I you can look it up. It's called
yeah.
Sibylline. It's called Sibylline, and the author published, well, the publisher published it with like
Yeah.
extreme. It's for young adult. I should clarify. It's for which is ages 12 to 18, and it had extreme graphic, explicit content.
Oh,
There's a threesome, dead body involved. Yeah, it can. I don't
Yeah.
even know if I can say this on here. I just
no
realized that.
way.
Yeah,
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
designed for kids.
Yeah, and I'd
young
actually
adults. Yeah.
read some of her books before previously,
Did
and they were
you?
clean. Yeah, I read her Alex and Eliza series. I loved it, but yeah,
That's so sad. Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, I
Oh,
saw that and I was just like, it kind of made me feel sick to my stomach. I was like, how could
honestly, yeah.
somebody put this book out there for young adults is, I forget what age is young adults. It's like 12
I think
or
it's 12 to 18 or 12 to
okay.
17, I think. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm just like,
Yeah.
I would never read something like that. I don't want a
Yeah.
child reading something like that.
Exactly.
So yeah.
Exactly. So do you have recommendations for young adults, or how do you now your kids aren't at that age yet, but
Yeah.
how would you recommend parents look for that? I know you said the publishers.
Yeah.
Do you have any other tips?
Yeah, so I think when it comes to like older books, that's not an area where my kids are necessarily at, so I
Mhm.
haven't been in it as much. But
Yeah.
I have gleaned a lot. There is a Facebook group, I think it's called Christian Books for Christian Parents or something like that.
Oh
And
yeah, I
it's
might be in that actually.
yeah,
Yes, I've
so
heard of
it's
that. Yeah.
like it's a really great resource that I have used, especially for like chapter books, because my daughter is 9 and getting older, and I'm like, I don't have
Mhm.
time to sit here and read this entire book. So
Yeah.
just making note of like if I see a book, I will look it up on that page.
Hmm.
Or if I'm seeing other books that people suggest on Instagram, especially some of those other ladies, I'm like, okay, I trust these other women
Yeah.
that they want to honor the Lord and what they're suggesting. So I will keep note of that as well. So yeah, I'm not completely there, but I always say I'm trying to keep a step or two ahead of my kids.
Yeah.
So I'm like dipping my toes in that area now just to be like, okay, what's next for like my daughter as she's like adventuring off into
Yeah.
bigger chapter books. Yeah.
That's great. That's great. And then since your kids are reading, how do you encourage them to read? And how would you encourage other families to get their kids into reading?
Yeah. I feel like with reading and anything like in parenting, it comes in seasons. I feel like
Hmm.
there's seasons that my daughter will like devour a book. She read Matilda
Yeah.
in like a day. And then I was like, okay, let's read another book. She's like, I don't want to.
Mhm.
And I'm like, okay. So like, and then my son will go through seasons as well. He
Yeah.
was reading all these Bear Grylls books and I was like, oh yeah, this is great. And then like, he was just like, I'm kind of tired of it. I was like, okay. So with anything, it kind of
Yeah.
takes like, it takes
Yeah.
pivoting. It's like,
Mhm.
okay, so they're not really loving this at this point right now.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, okay, what way can I make this exciting for them? Is it reading a chapter with them at first,
Hmm.
getting started with them in the book? I've done that with my daughter. We're reading right now a Roald Dahl book together.
Oh
And
yeah.
so that's been fun. It's a fun activity for us to do together.
Hmm.
It's just kind of pivoting and being like, not forcing them to do it, but making it
Yeah.
fun still at
Yeah.
the
And
same
flexible.
time.
Yeah.
So
Can
yeah,
I ask
just
you? Go ahead.
yeah.
Go ahead, David. Oh.
So basically, yeah. Basically, my question is: your kids are still young now. Were you involved in helping them learn to read, or were they learning that in school, and you were kind of just facilitating at the house? How was that working out when they were
Yeah.
in age?
So when they went to their school, I
Okay.
was able to I was able to help them learn to read, which was really exciting for me. I think since they have more days at home with me, I take on the bulk of
Mhm.
the teaching still. And so just getting them to learn to read was really I was really nervous about it because I was like, this is a big thing. So
Yeah.
but yeah, we were able to do it. There was definitely bumps in the road, but I was able to teach 2 out of my 3 kids to read so far. So that's exciting.
Well, and we
That's
see a
great.
lot of parents who they're a scared
Yeah.
beforehand, like you said. Do you have any tips for maybe parents who our kids are getting to that stage to help them along with teaching their kids to read?
Yeah. I think definitely
Hey,
understanding that each kid is different. I think with my daughter, she was very slow in the beginning to like put the words together. She had the sounds, but wasn't
Mm-hmm.
able to put them together. And I think a lot of times it's scary. You're like, well, they should be doing this by now. Or like my other kid did it by this point. And it's like every kid is different and will learn at a different
Yeah.
pace. And there's
Mhm.
nothing wrong with choosing a different curriculum for them. Like if this worked for one of your kids and it didn't work for the other,
Yeah.
switch it up, try something different. There's no, like, you're not failing just because they didn't learn exactly like their sibling or they didn't learn, how the book said they should learn. And I think that's the fun of homeschooling is like we're able to be like, this isn't working. Let's figure out something
Mhm.
together and
Mhm.
like let's figure it out and get you reading, like to making it fun. It's not supposed to be this dreadful thing that, we have to do.
That's great.
I
That's
love that.
wonderful. David, did you have more? I don't want to cut you off.
No, ma'am, go right ahead.
Okay.
You're the boss. Come on now.
Oh boy. So then we talked a little bit about just this like inappropriate content in books. I
Yeah.
sort of want to segue off of that. I feel like we're seeing kind of, I guess the term is a double-edged sword with this
Mhm.
literacy crisis where like even adults can't read properly. I've been
Yeah.
seeing things where fourth graders in school are not reading at the level they should be.
Yeah.
So how do you, well, let me finish. I realize I'm like, oh, I'm not done yet. Um, so then we're seeing like this literacy issue where people aren't reading,
Yeah.
properly or they're struggling. And then we're also seeing this like inappropriate content in books. So how do you suggest parents and families navigate like those two issues that sort of create like a whole big reading problem?
Yeah, I think with the literacy crisis, it's just really sad to see. I know not every parent is able to homeschool and like
Yeah.
they want what's best for their children. And I think
Mhm.
just coming alongside each other too is something really important. Even if your kid isn't homeschooled or there's just
Yeah,
different things like that. It's coming alongside one another and being willing to be like, I'm struggling in
totally.
this, or my kid is struggling in this, like what
Hmm.
has worked for you? I know, like, I have a community of women at church that I'm like, okay, well, this math curriculum looks terrible. I don't know, like, I don't know what to do. So just
Yeah.
gleaning from other people that are
That's
in that
great.
same situation and dealing with just different things like that, I think has been really helpful for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is sad to see like how it is becoming like a crisis in our country that kids
Yeah.
aren't reading or can't read at a certain, not a certain level,
Hmm.
but can't
Yeah.
read well. And
Hmm.
it's like
Yeah.
it's just, it makes me sad. It's like there's such a fun
Yeah.
world out there for those kids. And
Totally.
yeah,
Mm,
yeah.
yeah. So then if a parent struggles to read, how do you suggest they read on their own or develop better reading skills?
For themselves.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's just like a kid, like finding what you love and finding
Mm,
what sparks your interest too. Like I
yeah.
know after I had my kids, I can't tell you how many books I read when they were really little because I just
Hmm.
like I was consumed with like so many other things. And when I eventually kind of found my way back to reading, I was able to be like, okay, what do I like? Like
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
understanding. Like it's like you're coming back. You're like, okay, what do I like? Like why? And it's okay to not finish a book I don't enjoy. And I think
Yeah.
it's just having grace on yourself to be like,
Mm,
okay, I don't have to read 20 books a year. I can
yeah.
read two, and that's great. And just like,
Hmm.
especially with parents reading and showing their kids that they enjoy reading, kids
Yeah.
like to imitate what their parents do. So
Hmm.
if I'm on my phone, my kids are like, my kids one time they made this little like paper phone, and I was like, I don't know if that's like endearing or like I'm like, okay, okay, I'm gonna set my phone down. Like it was just like I'm like, oh, they are
That's funny.
imitating like what I'm doing. So
Yeah.
so it's just like it really is a great way to show your kids why reading is important, seeing
Yeah.
you read and finding books that you enjoy too. So,
Yeah, that's great. And then, do you guys have a reading routine? Like, do you read at certain times? Do you try to read every day? Like, what does that look like?
yeah, so we do have somewhat of a routine. We're kind of the kids were on spring break the other week, but mostly what our routine looks like is I go to the gym on Mondays and Fridays, and in that
Mm,
20-minute car ride, we listen to a book. So it's been
that's
really
great.
fun that we have a chapter book that we always listen to on the way there. Right now we're reading Paddington,
Mm.
the second one. So my kids have been really loving that. And it's been super helpful because they're like, they're locked in. Like they can't like, first of all, physically
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
locked in and like mentally and like they have to listen. So it works really well. For us to have that is definitely something like they know we're getting in the car. We're going to be
Mhm.
mom's turning on the book and we're going to be listening to
Yes.
it together. And so we do that. We also do like a quiet time in the afternoon where they get their books or their Yodo player and they're able to
Yes.
just listen to a story if they don't want to sit and read. We haven't done this in a while, which I want to get back to, is we read during lunchtime.
Oh,
And
yeah.
that's
Mhm.
another time when they're kind of like not stuck with me, but like they're sitting they're sitting nicely and like I can read a story to them. So
Hmm.
that's been really, they have really loved doing that, especially for
That's
meals.
great.
And if you have a
Mm.
kid that constantly gets up and is doing, like trying to do
Yeah.
other stuff, you're like, okay, so like if I'm sitting there with them with a book,
Hmm.
9 times out of 10, they're not getting up and like
Yeah.
wandering around or,
Hmm.
so
Hmm.
those are definitely some pivotal moments. And we do have family worship in the evening where we read a couple books and then we read the Bible
Oh, that's
together.
nice.
And then, yeah, we pray together. So those are,
That's great.
we have points in our day where we're kind of anchored to books. So,
Yeah, that's
yeah.
wonderful. And then can you talk a little bit about, is it the Yoda player? I've seen it all over
Yeah.
social media, but I think that's a really unique tool for families.
Yes, we love the Yodo player. I think we got ours first for my daughter when she was probably 6 or 7.
Mm.
Um, It's a little player that you get different cards for. It's different stories, there's songs, but they have a really good selection of good stories that you can just pop in there and just listen to. I know there's days where I'm like, my voice is done. Like, I cannot
Yeah.
read another word to you. Like, my voice is going. So it's nice to
Hmm.
just have something like a resource like that, to be able to be like, okay, let's sit and listen
Yeah,
to corduroy together and you can flip through the pages with me and stuff like that. So it's
that's
just
fun.
it's a great resource, I think, for families and just different facets. My kids have listened to them before bed and stuff like that. So it's just a great tool that we use.
That is, especially for like auditory learners. I'm sure that's very
Yes.
helpful to kind of
Yes, for
engage
sure.
them in the story, but then they don't have to be physically reading if that's hard for them.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. For sure.
That's great. And then
Yeah.
how do you kind of teach your children how to discern content in books? Has that come up yet for you guys, or like what does that
Yeah.
look like for your family?
So for my oldest, that's mostly come up. We haven't really gotten into any necessarily books, but there have been, I think, maybe more so in like shows where
Mm-hmm.
we talk about, is this what the Bible says is true? Is this what the Bible says is
Mm,
right? Especially with
yeah.
like, just different relationships or different things that
Yeah.
my daughter has noticed. And she would come to me and be like, Mom, this says something like the Bible says isn't true. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
talking to them about what we want to fill our minds with. We want to fill our minds with things that are good, true, beautiful, the things of the
Yeah.
Lord. And if these things are on shows, we haven't come across it in books as much because I'm like in the books
Yeah.
a
Right.
lot.
Right.
So
Yeah.
thankfully we
Sure.
haven't had that, but we definitely can someday. And so I think it's just preparing your children not to be scared of
Yes.
those things, but it's like to be like give them discernment too. Like these are,
Mm-hmm.
why
Mm-hmm.
don't we want these things in our books? Because they
Yeah.
don't honor the Lord. And I think I lead with that, especially with my daughter a lot. And that has been a good talk with me and her before, like why
Mm-hmm.
we don't allow these things in our home and why other people might. And, this
Yeah.
is what we feel called to as a Christian family. We don't want those things in our home. So, yeah.
Yeah. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
And then do you you said earlier about the publishers that you look for. Could you
Yeah.
list a couple of those? I think that might be helpful for families who
Yeah, for
are,
sure. So especially for Christian books, I find that I do review programs, especially
yeah,
with a lot of publishers. And so I mostly know about Christian ones. There's a few other ones that I can speak to, but I can't say all of them are great. But
yeah.
from what I've learned on the Christian ones, Crossway is a really great
Oh
one.
yeah. Yeah.
The Good Book Company, I'm trying to think, Harvest House,
Mm-hmm.
and I think there might be another one. But those three are like my go-to. Like if I see
Yeah.
them, they're very well done. They base things scripturally very well.
Mm-hmm.
And I think as far as like, I'm trying to think of the other publisher. I think like Walker House is one that has,
Okay. Mm-hmm.
I think I tend to love books from England a lot. I don't know
Yeah,
why.
me too.
Like,
I get
I
that.
don't
I
know. It's
totally
just
get that.
like, it's very much like their illustrations are very sweet, very
Mm-hmm.
gentle. Like, and I think Walker House is one that comes out of there. There's one called Magic Cat as well. That's a really fun one. Um, of course, now you're asking me, I don't remember any other publisher,
That's
but
okay. That's fine. So do
yeah,
you
there's
use
definitely
NetGalley to find them, or how do you like have they reached out to you personally? Sorry, that's kind of nosy, but
yeah,
I do book
no,
reviewing.
no,
That's why I
you're good.
asked.
So with I mostly do I have I do Random House publishing as
Oh yeah,
well, which is
great.
a bigger one. And I kind
Hmm.
of was like, I was a little nervous to like check out,
Yeah.
like dip into those ones. But I was like,
Hmm.
I want to check out these books for families
Yeah,
as
sure.
well. So I've done a lot of them have online. You can go and you can say, I am a book reviewer. Like, I would love to like
Yeah.
check out your books and recommend them to my audience. So with Crossway, Harvest House, and the Good Book Company, I'm able to just Moody Books is another one too.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
I'm I'm able to just go on there and be like, okay, and I get to pick from their new releases or stuff like that to just check them out and show it to my audience to be like, hey, this is what the inside of the book looks like. This is if you want a book like this is
Yeah.
my take on it and stuff like
Mm,
that. So it's just going to the publisher's websites is really what I think I've done in the past. So yeah.
that's wonderful. That's great. I know, I was thinking of one of the people that I follow on Instagram. Is it This New Day? She has great
Yes.
content for,
Yes.
especially she has some stuff for older readers too, I think. But
Yes.
I definitely trust her reviews from what she shares. It seems very age appropriate
Yes.
and mindful.
Yes. There, I feel like there is a good community of ladies that
Hmm.
love the Lord and want to find good books for not only their kids, but for
Yeah.
other people's kids as well. So it's
Yeah.
definitely like it's a sweet spot to be at and to be able to learn from other people as well.
Yeah, yeah. And to kind of transition off of that, since you're a reader yourself, what do you like to read? Do you have favorite authors? Do you read every day? What does that look like for you?
Yeah. So I feel like with my kids too, I go through seasons of it.
Yeah.
I just finished a book by Tessa Afshar. I think that's how you say
Oh,
her name.
yeah.
It was called A Pearl in the Sand, and it was
Oh, I've heard of that. Yeah.
a fictional like retelling of Rahab, and it was
Mm,
so good. I loved it. I love historical fiction. I love
me too.
um
Yeah.
books about like things that happened like with Rahab. I was able to be like, okay, like is that really what happened during that time? You know, it was just like I was
Yeah.
able to go back to my Bible and be like, oh yeah, that really did happen. And I was like,
Mm-hmm.
so it was like a really fun like learning experience for me too to like to dig into like what life was like for the Israelites and stuff. But I enjoy historical fiction. I really have been getting into biographies as well, like
Okay.
Christian missionary biographies
Oh,
has
yeah.
been one that I really love and enjoy. Trying to think my books are here. I love classic books. I love Jane Austen.
Mm-hmm.
Read Little Women for the first time this year. And
Oh, yay. I love
when I
that
got
book. Oh,
when I got to the end, I was listening to part of it and I got to the end and I was like, that doesn't seem right. So apparently there's two books
oh,
in one.
yes.
So Good Wives
Yes.
is the second part
Hmm.
of the book. And I was like, I'm missing something. So I need to read the second half,
I
apparently.
forgot that. Yes.
Yeah. So
Yes. Yeah.
I was like, this is such a big book. I flew through this. I was like, man, I was like really proud of myself. I was like, oh gosh, I only read half the book. So I need to read
That's
the other
funny.
half.
Easy
But yeah,
mistake. Very easy
yeah.
mistake.
So I love classic literature. There's nothing like the language that they
Mm.
use and
Oh,
just the
yeah.
descriptions and stuff like that. So if I'm ever like not sure what to read, I have definitely a list of like classic books that I need to read.
That's great. And you said you
Yeah.
like Christian missionaries. I think there's a whole
Mhm.
series actually. I think I read them. We used Sunlight when I was homeschooled.
Oh yeah.
Um, and I think there's a whole series that they had us read. Is it Christian Heroes Then and Now or something like that? They're
Yes.
they're all brown. The books are all,
Yes.
and they have like a map on the front, I think.
Is it from YWAM?
It might be. Yeah, it
I
might
think so.
be.
Yeah. That's one
Yeah.
I've been wanting to get my hands on, like for my
They're
daughter.
very good. Very
She
good.
read a missionary, what was it? It was on Katie Luther, and she like
Mm.
got hooked onto it. And I was like, so like, and now of course I'm trying to find all the missionary
Yeah.
biographies for her, and she'll probably be like, I'm not really into that anymore, but
Uh, well, you could
as
read
it
them.
goes.
Yeah, yeah.
So
That's
yeah,
good though too to have a flexible attitude about it, I think. Whether you
yeah,
want to like take a step back from reading or they do, that's really good.
yeah.
Very healthy.
I think that's something I definitely learned recently. I wanted my daughter to read The Secret Garden because I love
Mm.
that book. And I was like,
Hmm.
she's like, this is so boring. I was like, just keep going, just keep going. And like
Yeah.
there was a point where I was like, she is not enjoying this. I need to just like
Mm.
to let it go and like maybe we can try it later together. Like
Yeah.
there's no checkbox. There's nobody like being like, did your daughter read The Secret Garden
Yeah.
when she was 9 years old? Like, no, nobody's gonna come ask me that. So it's like
Exactly. Yeah.
so it's
I
just
get that.
being graceful with your kids and with yourself too.
That's great advice. David, do you
Yeah.
have anything? I don't want to like keep talking over you.
No, no, no. You guys are doing this is amazing. I love how you guys know what each other are talking about. I'm just sitting here
We can just keep
tossing
going.
the wind.
Sorry, David, you're gonna
I
have to
know.
be quiet.
I'm over here defending flies from landing on my
I
face.
was like,
No.
I could see you were struggling over there.
Me too. They keep landing on me.
Oh, it's that
Oh,
time of year, sadly. It's
it
getting to be.
is.
It
I love the
Yes.
warm, but not the bugs.
Yeah. 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 So then, do you have some, you mentioned about these moms that you follow on Instagram. Do you
Mhm.
mind recommending some of them so that way people
Yeah,
can also utilize what they do?
definitely. I think Lexi at a good book hunt is a really great one.
Mm.
That's her, yeah, that's her Instagram handle. I definitely have found that we align a lot on different things, so it's been really encouraging to like glean stuff from
Yeah.
her. There are some other ladies, trying to think. I actually have a couple of friends too that have published books as well, which has
Great.
been really exciting to like watch them,
Yeah,
go
that's
through that process and help them to like get their book out there. My friend Gabriella wrote How to Become a Knight, which has been
I've
really,
seen that book
yeah,
around. It looks so good.
it's so good. It's so good. She does an amazing job on it. Like I love it for my sons, especially. I'm trying to think of some other ladies. This New Day, like you mentioned, she has a really great collection. It's nice to have those so, she's not old, I'm not calling her old, but older mothers that have older
Yeah.
children. And it's
Yeah.
like, okay, like what did your kids read?
Yeah.
I know, I think it's Brit's Book Bin. She
Oh
does a
yeah.
lot of
That sounds
middle
familiar.
grade novels, which has been really helpful for me as my daughter is like in that age. So I'm just
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, what is she recommending and stuff like that. There's another girl that is called Moravia Press, Tiffany.
Oh
She
yeah.
does she does a lot of historical stuff, which is really nice to like, have
Mm-hmm.
somebody in that realm. So it's just like there's different people and different like they have their like specialties almost, it's like, okay,
Yeah.
I need help with this one. Like who can I go to? Like, okay, I know she has older children, like, and just I think it's just that community again of like
Yeah.
being helpful to one another and just like my kids might be older than some other kids, and I can be like, oh, when my kids were toddlers, this is one we enjoy. So it's just like passing on information from one mom to another on things
Yeah.
that have been like super helpful and different
Mm-hmm.
seasons and stuff. So yeah.
That's great. That's great.
I want to jump in there real quick,
Yeah,
Beth.
go ahead.
That's something like you're talking about the community that we're seeing starting to build more and more in the
Yeah.
homeschooling realm. Before it was a
Yeah.
lot of individual families attacking this.
Yeah.
I want to just highlight how important it is. Like you said, you reach out to people that have older kids to learn from
Mm-hmm.
them, but then you
Yeah.
also are able to help people with the younger kids from
Yeah.
with their own experience. And I think all in all, in homeschooling, parents shouldn't be shy about reaching out, learning, trying to connect with different
Right.
people, learn from
Mm-hmm.
them. All of us are going to have different experiences. We're not supposed to
Right.
walk the same path, but we should be reaching out actively to learn from each other, especially when it
Yes.
Mhm.
comes to other moms who've already walked down that path. You can take what you want and then you can just
Yeah.
disregard anything that doesn't align with you.
Right.
I just wanted to highlight that you said that how important that is for the parents to start
Mm-hmm.
doing that early on.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think we're meant to do it alone. Like
Yeah.
we're not meant to do life alone. We're not meant to be, like you said, by ourselves, like trying to like, head in this like I can't figure it
Mhm.
out. Like there's such beauty and
Mm-hmm.
community of older women and younger women, like learning from them, especially moms that are homeschooling and stuff. And yeah, like you said, you can take what you like if someone has advice, you take it and you're like, okay, that doesn't apply to me. And it's okay. Like
Yeah.
move on and
Mm-hmm.
take,
Exactly.
take what you think applies to your family too. And it's just that discernment of it as well. So yeah, I think if people are doing it on their own, find a friend. Like, like
Yeah.
don't do it alone. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's hard enough. And then like to
Yeah.
just do it on your own, it's like, no,
Oh
come on,
yeah.
come on. Like we can do this together. Like
Yes.
you don't have to be alone.
Yeah. I totally relate to that when I joined Bookstagram. I guess
Yeah.
I'll just use the technical term. I was struggling to find like appropriate books that I would enjoy based on my faith.
Yeah.
And then I found all these people who are doing the same thing, and it just
Yeah.
opened up a whole world of opportunity. So you guys are, as like homeschool moms, you're kind of even more like niche, I think that's the term, to like, I think I said that right.
Yeah.
But you're more, centered in on homeschooling, but then you also have the age appropriate reading attached to it. And that's really important,
Yeah.
I feel like,
Yeah. I
especially
think so
now more
too.
than ever. Yeah.
Yes. Yes, for sure.
And then you do have a reading guide, I believe. So would
I
you mind
do.
sharing about that a little bit?
Yeah, so I have different I have different things on Etsy. I started out with how to build a home library starter kit,
Mm. Hmm.
which is just like an introduction to parents about, okay, they're like, okay, they're introduced to this term of a home library. It's like, okay, where do I start with that? Like, what do you mean, like home library? So I kind of just break it down into like, what is a home library? What books would I suggest for different age groups? I think I do 0 to 2. I think I go all the way up to 12. But just like the ones that I would be like, this is definitely one like you're gonna want to have. Like
Yeah,
there's so much, there's so much to learn from these books. And so I started off with that one, and then I also have How to Build a Home Library Classics Edition. And that's
right.
basically just digging deeper into like a home library, like the classics section. So
Mm.
like if you were to go to someone's home library and like, okay, these are the classics, like why are
Yeah.
classics important to children and why should we be reading them? And then I have
Mm.
a book list also with that. Um, yeah, so those are the two I've had so far. And it's been fun to kind of do those. I'm also working on some other ones with like different genres and why these
Mm.
books are important to children and to us too as well, and why we
Mm.
need to be reading good books and not
Mm.
there's a
Yeah.
lot of bad children's books out there. They're just like they're just boring or I don't know. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah. No, yeah, that's true. Yeah.
yeah.
I know one I really liked based on the illustrations and the content. She's older, is
Mhm.
Tasha Tudor. I don't know if you've heard of her.
Yes, I
Yes.
love Tasha Tudor.
Yes, my
They're
grandma
so
got me hooked on her as a kid.
oh, I
Yes.
love it. She just and it's like especially with like AI coming in and doing a lot
Mm.
of books recently too. Like
Yeah.
it's like being able to look at someone like I've always said to like my kids the like your books that you have on your shelf for your kids is your like the first art gallery they're ever going to
Mm,
experience.
that's so
So
good.
that's gonna be like I know for my kids, like I like I think that's like the number one rule almost in the books. Maybe not number one, but I'm like, it's gotta be good looking. Like we're gonna be
Yeah.
looking at these pages, we're gonna be looking at like
Hmm.
how this artist did this. And it's like
Yeah.
we can awe and amaze at like the talent that the Lord has given like these people and like
Mm,
especially like Tasha
yeah.
Tudor, like if I
I
could draw
know.
like that woman, that
I
would be the
know.
most like that would be so awesome. But I can't. So
Yes.
I will marvel at her at her
Yes.
drawings.
Yes.
So
Yes.
yeah,
Oh.
I think illustrations are just so important too. I like especially like
Mhm.
Tasha Tudor. I just love her stuff and
Yeah.
some other ladies. It's just so beautiful.
Yeah, I like Jan Brett too. She's one I grew up on. Oh
Me
my
too.
goodness. Yes. I still read
Yeah.
these books as an adult just because I don't know, I feel
Yeah.
like you learn good moral lessons, but then it's also very
Yes.
soothing to just take a break from a fiction
Yeah.
book, like an adult book, and just to like kind of like, not I don't want to call it like a brain off activity, but it's just
Yeah.
very relaxing. It's very soothing. And
Yes.
the illustrations, I mean, you can't beat Tasha
Yeah.
Tudor.
No, it's so yeah, it's just I think it's great. Like I read lots of books and I read lots of children's books and my kids aren't there. Sometimes I'm like
I love
I'm
that.
looking through books and stuff and I'm like and like it's very nostalgic too. Like especially
Mm,
if
it
you
is.
grew up like reading those books and just I bet it like does something for your brain. Like it
Oh, it
just like
does. Yeah.
I'm sure like
Yeah.
you're thinking back to like, okay, my grandma gave me this book and how
Hmm.
that felt and like
Yes.
just like the
Yeah.
fact that books can pull that like
Oh,
from like
yeah.
your past and stuff. And it's like, I love
Hmm.
this book. My mom read this book with me, and
Yeah.
like you
Yeah.
discover it. And like people have said that about books I've shared, like, my grandma gave me this book and I lost it
Yeah.
and I didn't. And it's like, I'm so like,
Oh,
I'm so sorry you
yeah.
lost that, but here it is. Like, I'm glad you can like
Yes.
know what it is and
Yes.
enjoy it again. So
I
yeah,
love that. Yeah, my grandma introduced me to her. Oh my gosh, I don't even know how long. I think we were doing tea parties when I was younger, and
that's a
she actually
perfect tea
passed
party.
away. Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
She passed away, what is 5 years ago. So I
mm,
actually buy them now as sort of like a way to commemorate her. And there's a local bookstore to me, and I told the lady,
yeah,
I was like, I'm always on the hunt for these because she'll just have them randomly. So every time
yeah.
I go in, she'll be like, I have a Tasha Tudor for you. And I'm like,
Oh,
okay. And the one she gave me the last time, it was actually signed, because
oh,
Tasha Tudor had been like locally to me and she has connections there, which was like, I
wow.
got a whole backstory too, which was crazy.
Oh, that's so fun.
Yeah.
I love that. That's really
Yeah.
cool.
that was almost crazy. When she handed me the book, I was like, I don't even know what to do.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
cry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Give me a minute.
Just give me a
Yeah.
minute with this book, please. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I want to be respectful of your time. I know you said you're a little bit on a time crunch, but David, do you have anything else?
No, if you could before you hop off, just go ahead and say your Instagram handle and then like where
Mhm.
everyone can find you because I want to try to push as many families over to your content as possible.
Awesome. Thank you. Yeah, so I am at A Sweet and Simple Home on Instagram. I'm also on Facebook at the same thing, A Sweet and
Okay.
Simple Home. And then I I have TikTok, but I don't really use it. So we'll just stick with those two. So
Okay.
I feel like I'm old, but I don't understand how to work TikTok, but I'm working on it. So
I don't either, trust me. So
okay.
I
I'm
also
like,
don't see the purpose of it, but I
no,
guess
it's just it's kind of too loud for me almost. I don't know if that makes sense. Like, is it very
Yeah,
like
that
there's so
does.
many things like happening. I'm like, I just want to
Yes.
post about this book, like, and then like people are I was like, no, no.
I totally get that. And then
Yeah.
your guides are on Etsy, is that correct?
Yes. Yes. You
Great.
can find there the link in my bio too as well. So
Great.
okay.
yeah.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much. This was very,
Yeah.
very informative and wonderful.
I'm glad. Thank you guys for having me. It was so
Yes, of
fun.
course.
Thank you,
Yes.
Miss Sarah.
Yeah, you're welcome.